Hello and welcome to The Marketplace with me, Lukman Haris. Magna Prima is a developer which focuses its development in the Klang Valley region. It has over 32 acres of land bank in the valley, where 25 acres of it is located in Shah Alam alone. Collectively, Magna Prima's land bank is estimated to have a remaining gross development value, or GDV, of more than 5 billion ringgit. Luxury developments are also a big component of Magna Prima. This include the Avare in KL City Centre, as well as the Istana in Australia. Its prized asset, though, is the 2.6-acre land along Jalan Ampang, just a stone's throw away from the Petronas Twin Towers. And joining me to discuss more is the Group Managing Director of Magna Prima, Datuk Berhad Mahmud Muhammad Khalil. Datuk, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with that 2.6-acre land, the prime real estate along Jalan Ampang, which is very close to the city centre, the KLCC. You have not submitted any concrete plans on what you want to do with this land. What's your plans?
We actually have submitted, and the development order has been approved a few years back. It was for a twin tower 60-story mixed component project, consisting of a hotel, commercial and residential. But we are currently now reviewing the plans and going to resubmit for a different, higher plot ratio. Because at that time we got about plot ratio 12, which one was the highest at that time. So now we're going to resubmit to get a higher plot ratio.
So in other words, you don't think the land was valued correctly at that time?
Sorry?
In other words, you are of the opinion that at that time, the land was not valued correctly because you are submitting the reply?
No, that was a few years ago. It was good for that time, but since we kept the project we reviewed the project, so we did not start the project yet at that time because of market conditions. So now, while the market is a bit soft, what we do now in the company is just to value add on our existing land bank. So we'll do some minor changes here and there. When the market improves, at least we are ready to go.
Let's talk about the financials of the company. In FY16, you recorded lower core net profit of just under 12 million ringgit. This is a sharp decline from the core net profit of FY15, which is over 400 million ringgit. So what's the reason behind the plunge?
2015, around 2015, that was the revenue recognition of all the projects before. So those projects were started during the 3-4 years before that. It was during the good market. So those projects was completed successfully and delivered. So that's why you see a big bump on our 2015 books. But moving forward after that, we were a bit more cautious on the market because since then we saw already the market was a bit slow. So we became more conservative on our what kind of projects that we built moving forward.
Well, you focus mainly on luxury developments.
Yes.
Seeing as the market conditions have been challenging and will continue to be challenging, or at least volatile, as you mentioned, do you see yourself realigning your priorities?
Not really realigning. We always concentrated on luxury and also middle high. So maybe now, because of the slowdown in the economy, we just concentrate more on the middle and middle high portion of the business.
In April this year, Hua Yang Berhad became the largest shareholder. It now owns about 30% of Magna Prima. And following the increase of their stake, they say they will work together with Magna Prima for future projects. Can you shed a bit more light on what that means?
Moving forward, since property prices has gone up, land has gone up, so it is not a bad idea for us to actually go into joint ventures together. So since Hua Yang and Magna Prima is quite the same in terms of management style, so it's actually easy for us to work with. So we saw it fitting that we'll become partners. So maybe in the future project that we can identify, we'll work together.
They're the largest, your largest shareholder, and you mentioned that you plan to go into a lot of JVs with them, but Hua Yang's financials itself have been under pressure recently. For the first quarter, unbilled sales halved from June 2016 to June this year, from 400 million ringgit to just over 200 million ringgit. Their net profit also plunged nearly 93% for the first quarter of 2017. So how will their under pressure financials affect you in any way?
There will be no effect on this because Hua Yang is just at the end, is just an investor. Their financial has no bearing on us completely.
You also have focused exclusively in the Klang Valley. Do you have plans to diversify elsewhere into a less saturated, less competitive market?
Currently have no plans. We have always been a Klang Valley developer. We're going to concentrate in Klang Valley. We did one job internationally in Australia that went quite well. So currently we are still looking maybe to do one more international job to the portfolio.
We've interviewed also a lot of developers here, and a lot of them seem keen on states like Malacca and the potential that it has for property development. Do you have no plans to tap into the potential of states like Malacca?
Yes, Malacca has its own potential, but we are not looking into Malacca currently.
Sorry, go on.
We are just going to concentrate on our core business that we are well used to, which is the Klang Valley side, because we are very much entrenched in Klang Valley and we know how it works. So we just concentrate on our strength.
Recently, consumer sentiment has been subdued, amongst others, contributed by rising cost of living, and this is especially prevalent in the Klang Valley, in the city centre. Are you sufficiently buffered? Are you sufficiently prepared to expect lower than expected property sales following this?
We have foreseen this around 2014. That's why when you saw our 2015 financial was actually very, very good, but we already made provisions for a slow market for 2016, 17 and onwards. That's why we actually downsized our company back then. We are now currently running only at 60 employees. We keep everything very lean, overhead very low. It's easier for us to just maintain the current market for the time being.
Right, we'll come back with Datuk Rahadin Muhammad Khalil, Group Managing Director of Magna Prima Berhad. The Marketplace will be right back. Welcome back to the Marketplace with me, Luqman Haris. I've been speaking to Datuk Rahadin Muhammad Khalil. He is the Group MD of property developer Magna Prima Berhad. Now, Datuk, before the break just now, we talked about the developments that Magna Prima embarks upon. Most of them are luxury developments, the Avari, the Istana in Australia. We also talk about affordable housing a lot here in this country. And the government has also put forth, calls to developers to chip in and do their part. Do you foresee a need to increase your presence or focus more on affordable housing for the sake of the people moving forward?
That is a bit difficult for me to answer because, for one, we are no doubt a profit-oriented company, so we do have shareholders to answer to. So basically, it's always been my job to actually maximize shareholders' return. Affordable housing, I will leave it to the government to handle. Because currently all our land banks are all two prime land banks, and it's a bit difficult for us to actually chip in on this part.
Talking about what the government can do, of course, they are in control over policies on property development and things related to that. A lot of developers have even come on this show and, for lack of a better word, complain about the rising construction costs and the duties that they have to pay to develop properties. What's your take on this?
Well, I do agree with the rest of them. Construction cost has considerably gone up for all the new taxes and duties and so on. And also the authorities' fees to start the project has dramatically increased. So currently, like for us, we're paying like nearly 10% on just on authorities' fees for a project. So maybe the government should really look into this matter, and if they really are concerned about affordable housing to make units more affordable to the major public, they should look into all these fees, which is actually quite substantial, and this is a burden to the developer. Well, so at the end of the day, developers still have to pass it on to the public because there's only a certain margin that we make on projects.
Well, the 2018 budget is just around the corner as well. And do you have any specifics as to what you wish to hear from the government in terms of making property development cheaper for developers and subsequently the public?
From the last budget, I was a bit surprised they increased the stamp duty for purchases of 1 million properties and above. I would, hopefully maybe the government can review that because nowadays it's very difficult to buy properties that's, 1 million and below. So we do want the economic activity of people purchasing properties to be there. So maybe if they relax on some of these issues, it will be much better for the industry.
Talk about benefiting the locals. How many foreign workers do you employ?
I do not employ foreign workers directly, so we do have a construction division for that. Those are outsourced. The numbers are actually not very high. I think it's only maybe 20 people. Yeah.
Is there a way that you can go all local in terms of your labor?
Because we outsource some of those labor supplies directly to the contractor, so I'm not in the control of that. Yeah.
Let's talk about loans as well, be it affordable housing or luxury developments. There have also been some debate on whether we are making loans too easy or too hard to obtain to buy property. What's your take on this as a developer?
It's definitely not that easy. Yes, I think they are making it very, very hard for people to get loans. As a developer, so I have my fair share of trying to secure loans from the bank, but for now, currently, we are still okay. The bank still is supportive of us. But for our customers, I do see very high turnover rate in our sales because they get a rejection in loans. Even, you can see that they are quite a good candidate for loans, but the banks do still reject them.
So you're saying that some of these loan rejections are not justified?
I cannot really say that for sure, but it would be better if they make it much less stringent.
Well, this has been the debate. I mean, it's a balance that you have to strike. I mean, if you're the regulator and also you're the developers and you're the consumers, but is there a formula that we can healthily, sustainably make loans more accessible to general public without running the risk of increased default, for example?
I'm not sure what the data on default is, or no, I am an expert in how they calculate bank loans for individual buyers. But I do hope that they really seriously look into all these matters and just to make the industry itself more vibrant. Currently, it's a bit on the plateau side.
Right. Just very briefly,
it's very difficult to grow.
We're almost out of time. What's the outlook for Magna Prima and also the property sector moving forward?
Magna Prima, we are doing quite well now. We will always continue to do well because, for one, we are very lean. Our overhead is very low. We keep everything simple. That's why I do have a lot of jobs in Magna Prima because we keep everything lean, very low staff. For moving forward, I'm going to turn all our projects into like a manufacturing process because I'm just going to make it simple so it'll be easy for myself. I'm just going to churn out properties like as though it's a manufacturing process. I want to complete 4 jobs a year every quarter so I can recognize the revenue. My plan is to issue high dividend for each project we complete every quarter. My plan is to actually issue 50% dividend for each profit job that we complete every quarter, and we just turn it into a very high dividend yielding company because our share base is very small. Our shareholders are very happy if I do that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Berhadin Mahmud Muhammad Khalil, Group Managing Director of Magna Prima Berhad. And that's it for this episode of The Marketplace. Send us all your feedback on all our social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram at 501 Awani. Listen to this interview as well on your podcast. Simply search for The Marketplace or Astro Awani wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Lukman Haris. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.